China's foreign minister has warned that there will be, quote, confrontation and conflict between China and the U.S. if Washington does not change its approach to his country.
Leading countries should figure out what they want with each other. Do they want to build exclusive political blocs or foster friendship that is open and sincere? China and Russia have found a path of bilateral relations that features strategic mutual trust and good neighborliness, setting a good example for a new type of international relations.
Well, I think it definitely does. It certainly dispels anyone who thought that relations, that China's backing for Russia was anything more than, was it just a tacit support, is clearly, those doubts are gone. I think one of the quotes he said was, with China and Russia working together, the world will have a driving force. Now, this sounds to me like they're talking about forming a bloc and in some ways trying to isolate the United States, because I think it marks a significant escalation in this war of words that we've been having now especially since Russia's invasion of the Ukraine.
Diplomatically or also militarily?
Well, this is always the fear, is how quickly this can spill over. And they've also, because of the situation between China and the US regarding Taiwan, you've got a whole new military dimension there. They're basically saying that the US forced Russia to invade Ukraine by backing Ukraine. And they're creating an equivalence to some extent with Taiwan, saying that by selling arms to Taiwan, which is a major bugbear in US-China relations, that by doing this, they're putting China into the position where it may have to act militarily. That's the background to the threat. And these are very serious, and it is an escalation in the war of words.
As Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador blames the fentanyl crisis squarely on Americans, failing to mention the skyrocketing production of the deadly drug by cartels under his watch, News Nation wanted to know more about the politician, nicknamed AMLO after his initials. The popular center-left president was once mayor of Mexico City. López Obrador campaigned on a hugs, not bullets strategy to combat cartels. He emphasized social programs as a solution to the violence, as homicides surpassed 30,000 for 5 straight years. He's also been widely criticized as unwilling to take meaningful action against cartels, who are often spoken of as running key government institutions. López Obrador also shutting down almost all counter-narcotics cooperation with the U.S. after he came into office. Now he's taking a stand against the suggestion that the U.S. and its military should help.
We are not going to permit any foreign government to intervene in our territory, much less that a foreign government's armed forces intervene.
The push from some Republican lawmakers like Congressman Dan Crenshaw and Senator Lindsey Graham ramping up after the killing of 2 Americans, likely caught in the crossfire of cartel violence last week. López Obrador also blaming the growing fentanyl epidemic on Americans and their demand for illegal drugs, while falsely claiming fentanyl isn't produced in Mexico. U.S. officials estimate almost all fentanyl consumed in the U.S. is made there. The Mexican president's comments putting him in the hot seat for his own policies since his election in 2018.
Tonight, out of Harvard University, a draft paper about mysterious flying objects sounding almost like science fiction.
I think it's very likely that we are not the most intelligent civilization that ever existed.
Renowned Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb teaming up with the new head of the Pentagon's UFO office, dubbed the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Together, they say that interstellar objects detected in space could be signs of extraterrestrial life, and that current sky mapping technology, like the James Webb Space Telescope, could miss such objects.
It could have been a mother ship that released some probes in the habitable region around the sun. If we have a visitor to our backyard, we should observe it at first.
Meanwhile, more videos surfacing showing odd objects have been leaked to documentary UFO filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who recently released pictures of an orb shape over Mosul, and these images showing a cylinder flying over a rock. The Pentagon not commenting on the recent videos, but confirming prior videos released by Corbell had been filmed by service members. As for what they are, definitive explanations remain out of reach.
The Indian Navy successfully fired the ship-launched version of the BrahMos supersonic missile in the Arabian Sea. It was a precision strike. What's the Indian military preparing for? BrahMos missiles can be launched from submarines, ships, aircraft, or land platforms, acquiring speeds of 2.8 Mach, or almost 3 times the speed of sound. The Philippines has already procured the BrahMos missiles from India. Indonesia is in advanced stages of securing a similar deal with India, with Vietnam, Singapore, and Malaysia queuing up as well. Reports suggest UAE, Saudi Arabia are also considering, while Egypt, South Africa, and Brazil have all shown keen interest in the BrahMos missiles. The Indian Navy is conducting regular tests and showcasing its strength and pinpointed precision for all to know, especially some neighbors.
There is a Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean. They have been there since 2008. We keep close surveillance on the activities in the Indian Ocean region. That is our job.